Well, hey there, my friends. Welcome to my channel. I'm Laura Daniels, and I'm so glad you decided to spend a little bit of your day with me on Ink and Whimsy. Today we're going to be having some fun designing an 8.5 by 11 scrapbook page for my storybook, and you are going to die laughing when you hear this story. But let me show you a little bit of what we're going to be using. This is the beautiful Winter Meadows scrapbook suite, not scrapbook kit. It's a suite from Stampin Up, and I absolutely love the colors, and it's kind of hidden in the catalog. If you don't know what page it's on, there's about a 1-inch square photo of a tip of one of the papers, so you wouldn't even know it was there. But now you know it is there. This is my favorite page. I just love the colors in it, and this one with the berries is so pretty. So a couple of the colors that I used was Pretty Peacock, Night of Navy, and Boho Blue. We're going to set those aside. Here are the photos, and the story is about the unknown man. I have no idea who this man is. I don't know his name, and the story is just so hilarious. So here are my photos. And this is my mom and my sister, totally oblivious of what goes on that creates this story. And then, of course, I already have my journaling all done. So we're going to set those aside over here. And then I created some ephemera to use in this layout. And I don't want to take out those letters right now because you know what is going to happen. It will fall on the floor. And I'll get my title 99% done, and I'll be missing one letter. All right, so I am using these cutouts, and this is from the the Stampin Up online suite called Nests of Winter. And look at these birds. They are so pretty to cut out. And when you fussy cut watching your favorite TV shows, don't watch football, because if you're watching football and you're trying to fussy cut, what happens when your head's down and you're fussy cutting? That's when the touchdowns happen. So not when you're watching football, but if you're listening to your favorite podcast, right? So I cut out a couple of the birds that I wanted to bring out the color in the photos. So I fussy cut them out. We're going to set those aside. I used there's the N that I would not have been able to find. Get your little butt in there. All right. Let's see. I used the Spotlight on Nature dies, and these are going to kind of ground my two clusters that I'm creating on my 8.5 by 11. This was a regular circle die. This was the Spotlight on Nature, and I just love how it has the cutout along the edge to bring out the colors. So we're going to set those aside. And then the other thing I used was the Peaceful Evergreens. So in a couple of these, I stamped the image and used the die cut to cut it out. I just used one of these. Now these two right here, I used the die cut for the center of the trees, and I cut out just a solid piece of cardstock. Okay? All right, so I'm going to move these aside. I have already used 2 glue dots to set my 8.5 by 11 paper down, and we're going to get started with my page. So let's see. We are going to use, I think what I want to do is to put this down. See, I took a piece of my favorite paper, and this was a scrap, and first I was starting to use it just like this, but then I decided I wanted to separate it, and then I was just going to flip this over. So this is going to be on either side of my paper, but in the background, since we are in a national park and there's lots of trees, I was going to do something like this. So first, we're going to put this down, and I want it in the center about right there. So let's get where's my tape runner? Let's get this, oh, this side's pretty too. Almost like they shouldn't do that, because if you choose one side, you got to give up the other side. Unless you order 2 sets. But who's got that kind of money? Now, obviously, one must make sure trees are right side up. So we've already accomplished that. I want this. I'm basically looking at the top and the bottom to make sure. And there we go. You've realized in my last 2 videos, I have not had to rip something up. So maybe I've just turned a corner. And maybe Laura should not have said that. Right? You know, boy, this is sticking so well. Almost too well. Maybe I'm near the end and I won't be able to finish the video. All right. So this also is going to leave a little bit of color on the side and the top and the bottom. And always whenever you have your scraps, because see, this was a scrap, right? I flipped it over because all the pages coordinate in color. I go, you know what? Let me see. I could use that right over there. And a scrapbook page was born. I think I'm just at the end of this. I don't know how long this is going to last. And then I'm going to have to pause the camera to figure out once again how to take out the old and put in, oh, wait a minute now. I got to have my little border, don't I, to add the new piece. I think that's about, oh, wait a minute. Oh, my goodness. That's right. It's not going to be the full length, is it? So I've got to match it with the other side. It's going to go right there. There we go. And life in the world is not perfect, so my scrapbook page is not going to be either. All right, so let's kind of think about where I want to put everything. Now, we were at Mount Rainier National Park, and my mom, my sister, and I had gone on our first ever girls trip. Dad had passed away, and we had already planned the trip, and Mom was still so brave and went on the trip, and we were so proud of her, and we laughed and just really enjoyed our time together. And ever since then, we have started the thing where every year we do the thing, and the thing is, well, we got to go do that thing, the girls trip. So every year we have gone on a girls trip, and those of you who have been watching my channel, you have heard many a funny story about the girls trips that we have been on and shared together. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to put this down, but I want to go around the edge. So we are going to do that. And I'm going to take a Night of Navy, go around this. It's always a scary thing when Laura has an open stamp pad. All right, here we go. And just going right along the edges, and it just makes it pop. There we go. All right, so when I'm at a point when I can talk and actually scrapbook at the same time, I'm going to tell you this hilarious story. Maybe when I get the 2 photos down so you can look at the photos while I'm telling you this story. All right, we're going to close the stamp pad. I know I can safely put this down, but I have learned to do it towards the middle, and I don't want it in the center. I don't like it when things look too symmetrical. I have spent my entire scrapbooking life to be comfortable getting outside of the box. All right, now the title is called The Unknown Man. So first we're gonna do this, and I need to flip them all over. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the watootie. Okay, let's see. Now see, I almost lost it. All right, now let's do this. Let's turn them all around so they're at least facing the right way and they're easier to find. There's the H. I guess the H could go either way, right? And we are spelling the unknown man. Okay. Up here is I'm putting this circle to ground one cluster. So I am going to put this down because I need this down so I know where to put unknown man. Okay. And I'm just putting it in the center. And I am going to want it to go over this. And we're going to put him about right there. So let's put this down. We are just being so brave. And I know I need to be able to fit the unknown. So I need to leave room for that. And this, so about right there. What say you? And I need to have a cluster down on the bottom. I would say about right there. I know I'm doing the thing. I am so not supposed to be doing this. All right, what side has the stuff on it? All right, here we go. I think this will go right here because that's kind of dark. I'm not going to stick it down real hard. Okay, now let's do this. I wonder if this will work. Oh, would you look at that? Well, heck. All right, let's see. Let's just be totally brave. And I'm going to pick it up with this. It has like a putty on the end. And if I start to misspell something, oh, this isn't going to work. Oh my gosh. You know, I think I told you all this in a previous video. Y'all do not need to do what I do. This is why we make tweezers, because we have more control with tweezers. So I thought I had a great idea. The TH. Here's my H. Okay. Oh my gosh. Right here. And now, probably what I should do is pause the video, but I am just so sure I'm going to be able to do this quickly. So we're going to see what happens here. But you know what? It's stressful knowing you guys are watching me trying to put this down, especially when I'm just so anxious. I am going to drop it. So I'm going to pause the camera. I'll be right back. All right. Well, to say that that was painful was an understatement. Here is some of the remains of my work. Those of you that watching the video and were paying attention, you were looking at me putting down the letters unknown and you're going, Laura, you're missing the U. So I got all my letters down and there's this little U sitting over there. Like, he was sitting right there. And I went, oh my gosh. Well, everything was already glued down. So I literally had to pull it all up as carefully as I could, redo my letters. So I thought it was so good that y'all not watching me. And the next time I get this wild hair to go, oh, everything's going so perfectly, I haven't had to pull anything up, y'all just yell through the camera and go, Laura, don't do it. Don't say it. Because you know what happens when you say that stuff. Oh my gosh. All right, so here's the story of the unknown man that you guys have just been waiting to hear. So we were on our girls' trip to Mount Rainier National Park. And I love taking photos. It's seriously one of my favorite things to do. So I was taking pictures of the leaves, of the trees, of the ground, everything. And my shoes, my feet. And Mom and Lorraine just went up, getting way ahead of me, not paying attention whatsoever that I was no longer behind them. And I started calling. I said, Mom, Lorraine, I'm right here. Slow down. But they just kept talking. They were having the grandest time, not even paying attention that I wasn't even with them anymore. So I finally yelled out real loud. I went, stop. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this flash or this movement. And if y'all have watched a previous video about Where's the Bear, it is simply hilarious and has to do with my mom, my sister, and I on a different hike, same girls trip, about a bear. So when I saw this movement out of the corner of my eye, I'm thinking, well, it could be a bear because we are in Mount Rainier National Park, and we're on like an isolated path, all that stuff. So I catch my breath and I look over my shoulder, and there's this man, and he is paused mid-step. Now, I caught him a few seconds later, but he was literally, how you have one arm out like you're about to walk and take a step, and the other arm's tucked behind you, and he was frozen in step because he was literally stopping because I had yelled stop. And I looked at him, I looked at my mom and my sister, and they're still walking ahead. They're just chitting and chatting and laughing, and they just have no idea what has just transpired. And this man and I just started cracking up and laughing. I said, wait a minute. I said, don't go anywhere. I said, I got to take your picture. The fact that I even had the presence of mind to take a photo of this fun moment. And he was such a great guy about it. And he literally stood there so I could take the picture. We never exchanged names. I have no idea who he is. He was just a man out enjoying the hike, God and the outdoors, and a funny moment happened, and he was just a good sport about pausing so that I could take his picture. So he is forever known as the unknown man to Mom and Lorraine and I can literally do nothing but share that photo, and they'll both go, well, it's the unknown man. That's who it is. So it was funny. It was so funny. So he wasn't a bear. He's just a guy that I don't know who just had a great attitude and was having fun. And you're probably wondering, did my mom and sister ever stop? Well, they did. They finally stopped. When I yelled real loud, they stopped, but I wasn't paying attention to them at that point because I thought there was a bear. So they came back down. They started walking halfway back to meet me, and then I got to tell them the whole story, and they just laughed about it. It was pretty funny. Oh my gosh, life is funny, isn't it? I love it. So that is my story, and that is the whole purpose of my storybook, because sometimes I don't have a lot of photos. I mean, this isn't the best photo. I really had to zoom it in so it's a little blurry. This was the photo, and that was the story. And I really wanted to be able to remember that story, and I wanted the kids one day when they are looking through this storybook to be able to read the story. So do you have any funny story to share of when you went hiking? Is there something funny that happened that you want to share in the comments below? I would love to hear it. I love hearing a funny story. Life is short, and we need to embrace the funnies, don't we, my friends? All right, so here we go. That is the last part, and you notice I put some of it on dimensionals and some of it not, so it gives more dimension to it. So what do you think of my story of the unknown man? Do you have a name that I should call him other than the unknown man? I don't think he looks like a Harry. All right, my friends, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Until we meet again in YouTube land, God bless. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.